So today is Sunday, July 7th. Time for my beehive inspection. Um, so past few days have been fairly hot and warm, or hot and dry, and a little bit of afternoon rain. Um, Bees have been really slamming busy, like super busy. I was out weed eating the lower section of my lawn here, property here, and noticed that, glanced over one point in time, noticed that there was just a swarm of bees trying to get into the hive, and so I had to take the entrance reducer off just because they were backed up at the door. So I've been doing that for the past couple of days. I didn't do that today. There is a lot of activity, not quite as much as before, but I think that they're definitely moving stuff in and out, more in than out. As usual, there's a bunch of dead bees, not quite as much here as usual, at least it's not as noticeable. So either they're flying away to die, or they've got all of the debris cleared out. Last time I opened up the hive, I took the empty frames from the side and I put them in the center and put the brood chambers kind of on each side. Of course, the next day it was fairly cool out. We had a few downright cold days. And so I actually put the insulation wrap on the thing for one of those nights because it was dropped down to like 40, and I just kind of felt bad that I was splitting them up a little bit, and I hopefully didn't want to do any damage. So hopefully I didn't do anything bad. New beekeeper here. It's kind of like a new parent. You're just kind of making mistakes and going as you can, doing as you can. So we're gonna get into this and see where they're at today. So give them a little puff of smoke up the front here. Puff a puff. Set that there. A couple of ladies on there like usual. They are amazing today. Look at that. These ladies got some work going on. Definitely doing some working. We've got bees across pretty much all of the frames here, mostly on the older stuff here and here. These are the two that I put in the center, but hopefully they're expanding them out. Give them a little puff here. Sounds like my brother might be coming up the road here in just a moment. My brother and I were going to do some chores today around the property, but he got up late. I've already been up and about and doing stuff all morning. Look at that. Look at all that nectar. Ant on my hand. Look at all that nectar in there. They're just going to town. No, barely any drone out on this side. Just set that off to the side for the moment. No queen on there. Set the tool down. They've drawn out that corner and capped it with some honey. Not seeing. Got some decent brood down there, lots of larvae, some honey intermixed in between here. Still lots of room though. Little tiny larvae down in the bottom there. And honey along the edge. Not necessarily seeing any eggs in there, but there's definitely larvae. Come on, get out of the way, let me see. Oh, that's a nice frame of brood. Nice larva down in there. That's a good pattern, I like that. That one's good as well. The whole frame, almost edge to edge. Oh, got me. She just attacked right at my arm. Now that one hurt. Well, you get over it. So she just kind of flew out of nowhere and attacked me. I'm not seeing the queen anywhere. Last week my son got stung right at the end of the video. He wasn't even near the hive at that moment, which is unusual. Got one hanging out by my hat here. Maybe it's the glasses. Let's see. What else do we got? They're a little aggressive today because it's warm and they're moving around good. More capped honey in the corner there. Some brood. There's lots of larvae down in there. I don't see the queen. These cells are kind of intermixed with honey and larvae, capped honey on the corner there. Again, if I had more frames drawn out, then I'd probably, they're working on drawing that out. That's nice. They're thick on there. There's still nothing on that side. Still the problem of just not drawing out the comb. Very little here and there. Oh, that one's nicely drawn out. Some pollen in there. A bunch of eggs. Again, I'm not seeing the queen. We're going to do this quick because these guys are kind of agitated today. As soon as I find the queen, make sure she's good. Lots of larvae there. Capped brood. There's the queen right there. Blue dot. Hopefully you can see her. Yeah, nice. Putting away resources. Looks like they got plenty of resources going. Oh, nice. Nice. Very good. Pollen all not that one around the edges. All the pollen around the edges there. Lots of bees with pollen on their legs. Honey around the edges, nectar. Nectar, honey. What have you. They are moving today. Oh, that frame is heavy. That is a full frame of, I mean, except for a little bit of, there's like honey all around the edges. I mean, it's heavy. Tons of pollen in there. A few larvae in between, but this is just heavy with honey and pollen. Oh my God, that whole side is going to be honey right there. That's nice. That one's really heavy. I'd say that's 5-6 pounds hanging on that frame. We've drawn that out a little bit. Oh, there's a almost like a queen cup attempt there. Not quite. And nothing on the backside though. All right, girls, we're gonna put you back where you were. As you were. Move those all back over. Put this one right back down in there. So hive looks really nice today. Got one frame that's just packed full of resources. I mean, nothing but there's a couple of larvae in here and there, but for the most part it's just packed full of like heavy with pollen and honey. They're starting to work on getting some of these other ones drawn out, which is nice to see. I still don't have 10 full frames of drawn comb yet, which is disconcerting because I'd still like to get these 3 old ones out and just do all new frames. But overall, I'm pleased with the way that the hive is looking. Queen's in there, lots of activity today, and my sting number 4. That's the 4th time I've been stung. And that one actually doesn't feel too bad. It's the ones that are stung on the fingers that hurts. Look at these girls. These ones are just buzzing away over here on the lid as if they're fanning the hive. Looks like we dropped something down there. Come on, get off the edge there, lady. Looks like we have some drips down on the bottom here. Some drips down on the bottom here from when I had the frames. Looks like probably some nectar fell off there. Come on, ladies. Trying to get them off of the edges here. That way I can put the lid back on without squishing any of them. There we go. So the hive looks good. Looks like we got some good resources coming in. Busy. They are busy, definitely. So it's looking good. I really like the way it looks. Might, hopefully by the end of the season we'll have 10 full frames of drawn out comb. They still got lots of room, so I'm not worried about putting a super on or anything of that sort, because they've got room where they can build comb out easily enough, but they just haven't. So maybe if they start running a little low on room, then they'll start drawing out the rest of that comb. I'll probably come in here midweek this next week, and as long as the weather permitting, I'll come in here and look at it again and see where they're at. At that point in time, I'll decide whether or not I want to put a super on, and I'll put the 2 of the old frames up top in the super just to give them something to start off with. So hopefully that'll work, and never know, might actually have maybe 1 frame of honey that I can take off of it this year. That'd be nice if I could take 1 frame this end of the fall. So right now it looks like the flowers are in bloom. It's a nice day. As I said, the 1st of July. You'd think that it would be going into a dearth, but I don't think so. I think that they're really bringing in lots of resources right now, because I live higher up in elevation. So when it's the honey flow and the nectar and pollen flow, all that doesn't really start until probably 2 or 3 weeks later than down in the valley. So, well, next week, or next time I do this, like I said, it'll probably be midweek, so in 3 or 4 days I'll take a peek in there again, just to kind of quick peek and see where they're at with the comb. So that's it. Like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications for when I do another video. Again, it's really kind of boring, but it's my documenting. It's really, for me, more than anything else, documenting the progress. So thanks for watching.